you. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. Great. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the entertainment business, the music business specifically, but we're also going to go into some other things. Now, how many of you are music majors? I would assume, the bulk. And there are some drama people here, or some. Well, you don't have drama people don't have to be in the hallway. Drama people can come. We have chairs. Come on, come on in. Okay, and I invited music theater folks here as well because I think all the things that I'm going to talk to apply to all of you. I'm going to get specifically into some music issues because this is the music school. So I want to do that. So let me tell you a bit about myself. My name is Geoff Koch. I spent about 30 years in Los Angeles working in the film and television business, primarily doing music, but I also worked as an actor. These are a few of the things that I've worked in. I sang on Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin and Pocahontas, The Legend of Mulan, the Tigger movie. I wrote songs on Walker, Texas Ranger for 5 years. How many of you seen Robin Hood Men in Tights? We're men in tights. That was me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, the line where you listen to it and they go, "Manly men," that I came up with that, so it's really good. I worked as an actor on Angel, a zombie cop, sang on the Santa Claus, did commercials for Southwest Airlines, Kentucky Fried Chicken, was in a commercial for Ford. I studied at Second City as an improv actor for 2 years. So my training is all over the place. My degree is in, I have an undergraduate degree, BS in business administration. I have an MFA in creative writing, screenwriting, with screenwriting emphasis, and I spent 30 years as a musician. So I've been unemployed in many fields consistently over my career. Just some other things that I've done. Last acting job I had in Los Angeles was on CSI. Sang on Barbra Streisand's Christmas album, Aladdin, wrote songs on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That Kelly Coffey, that is my wife, who is right there, who is an OU grad. Yes, she was a vocal performance major, so she's lived what you are going through, all right? Yeah, I worked on Diagnosis Murder as an actor. I got to work with Dick Van Dyke and got to make him laugh, which was just an awesome thing to do. It's like a bucket list thing. So yes, I've met Bert. And my wife opened for Kenny Chesney for a year and a half and for George Strait. So I was on tour singing backgrounds for Kelly when we were doing that tour. So we have really been kind of everywhere in the music business. Lived in Los Angeles, lived in Nashville, lived that dream. So, this is the big question, right? Is this a question you are all asking yourself? What am I going to do after graduation? And it's not an easy question. How many of you guys are planning on going into education to teach music? Okay, probably the bulk of you. How many of you are going to perform? You want to be in orchestra? Any? What do you?
I don't want to be an orchestra.
Yeah. Okay. Perform. Any composers? Okay, where are my singers? All right, I love my people. They're my people. Okay, anybody looking to go into popular music? Okay. Anybody looking to go into film and television, film scoring, anything like that? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to talk about all this. Now, when we talk about the entertainment business, that also includes you guys who are looking to go into education. You may think that seems a little weird, but if you read all of your instructors' bios here at this school, or you talk to people who are teaching music in this state and other states, they all do stuff in addition. All your professors are all performing either with the Philharmonic, or they're doing seminars or jazz camps, or they're performing out, they're doing other things. And so what I'm going to talk about also applies to you. It can go from just doing a couple gigs to being, with the New York Philharmonic. Whatever it is that you want to do, this will all apply. So the first thing I want to do here is I want you to answer a question. And so if you have something to write with, or you have a phone, you can, or if you don't have anything to write with, just think about it. But I want you to answer this question. Write down your definition of success. Okay? Write it down, put it in your head. I'll give you a few seconds. Not many people writing. Everybody's watching, contemplating. Okay, you got it in your head, kind of? What's your definition of success? Now I want you to think and write down your definition of happiness. Think about that. Definition of success, definition of happiness. Okay, we're going to come back to that at the end, but keep that in mind as we go through this. So, I put together this flyer, and it has money on it, okay? And I know a lot of people, they go, oh, no, why money? I'm an artist. I don't need money. Money is the anti-artist thing. I get that. I swear to you, I get that in papers and when I talk to students. They go, I don't. It takes money to make art, guys. It just does. And so if you have a problem with that, if you think that this is somehow money is evil, money is going to allow you to do this, and money is going to allow you to do this hopefully as a profession. Because there's only two ways you can make art. You either do it as a hobby, which means you go sell insurance, paint houses, be an accountant, do whatever, and then you do music on the side, or you decide to make your avocation, the thing that you love, your vocation. And it ain't easy, but it can be done. Okay? And to do that, you need money, and that means you're either going to teach and make money doing that, you're going to be in an orchestra, you're going to compose music, you're going to find some way to sell it. And that's really what we're going to talk about today, and what I really want to emphasize. So, in order to create art, you have to have a vision, an idea of what your art is going to be. Okay? And I don't care whether you're playing the trumpet or whatever, you have an idea of what your soul, what you want to bring to what it is that you do. And it's important that you're clear on what that is. But art doesn't exist in a vacuum, okay? Art isn't just something that you create for yourself. In order for it to be art, you have to share it. And that means that you have to put it out there. And so just as much as you have a vision of what your art is going to be, you also have to have a vision as to how you are going to share it, how you are going to put it out there, which involves how are you going to get paid? Now, I was trained in business, and we talk about this, and I want you guys to really get this in your head, that you are a business. You are entering the music business, education, all of it, at the most exciting time that you can be entering this in the last 60 years, maybe ever. I'm going to say it again. This is the most exciting time to be entering the music entertainment business that there has ever been. Now, that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's never been easy. There are challenges. It's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. They can't. But that means that you have to think you need money. You have to think of yourself as a business. And the word that comes to mind with that is the word entrepreneur. Okay? And the definition is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. Sounds like a musician to me. It is. I mean, I had a degree in business, and I had a job lined up with IBM. I decided I wanted to be a singer. And my dad, I had just graduated from USC, which is a private school, which isn't cheap. And my dad kind of looked at me and had a smile, and he just said, "We love you, and we'll support you in everything you want to do." And then I went to a junior college for a year, crammed in probably 2 years of classes into a year studying music and recording arts, and then went to Hollywood and started a company and started doing what I do. But the cool thing about being an entrepreneur, and I've always used this word, but in preparing for this today, I decided, I'm going to be really cool. It's kind of a professorial thing to put a definition up. But then there was also this that was part of the definition: a promoter in the entertainment industry. That was kind of cool. And then I looked down a little farther, and here's what it says. The origin of the word entrepreneur, it's an early 19th century thing, denoted to the director of a musical institution. Even back in the 1800s, they recognized, and it's where the word came from, entrepreneur, that it's related to the arts, that it's related to music. So it's not a dirty word. Money is not a dirty word. Profit's not a dirty word. I had a student the other day handed in a paper, and she said, I don't want to make too much profit. Okay? And she said, I just want to make enough that I can, and I'll pay everybody more, but I don't want to make any more than, so when I get off tour, she wants to be a recording artist. She wants to sell her records. She wants to go on tour, and she wants to make just enough to pay for the people that work for her and to go on tour. Well, that works fine, except once you come off tour and you've got to create a new album, you don't have any money coming in. So you need to make profit in order to be able to support that. Okay. So being an entrepreneur, everybody, regardless of what you're doing, you have to pay bills. And if you are a business person as an artist, that means that you have all these things that you're going to be doing. Now, I know with a lot of the students that I have at the ACM, they're like, man, I became a musician because I don't want to do that stuff. You got to. You've got to. Even if you're a teacher, you're a professor, you're teaching music, and you're performing in the Philharmonic, you have to buy a black suit. You can write the black suit off. I write music for film and television, okay? Guess what I write off? My cable bill. I write music for commercials. I write off my cable bill because I have to know what's going on. I have to see what kind of music, what kind of instruments, everything that people are doing. I also work as an actor. I have to know what the shows are that are on and what style people are acting, okay? So there are business aspects of this, and you have to network, and you have to market yourself. And you have to do PR. You have to have business cards. You have to have a website. Okay? All this is part of it. All that is part of being a business. All that is part of being an entrepreneur. Now, love this. I found this the other day. Alan Gilbert, New York Philharmonic. Just as Steve Jobs famously avoided focus groups in determining the direction of his company, we in the music world should trust that what moves us, what we truly believe in, will also move others and can become a meeting point for our common humanity. Well, he's talking about art here, but he's talking about Steve Jobs. That's business. Steve Jobs, even when he was running the biggest company in the world, was an entrepreneur. He thought like an entrepreneur. He had a gut feeling about the products that he created. And if you read about him and the way he talks about his products, he's talking about a work of art for him. So you have to do the same thing. So I want you to listen to these three pieces of music, and I want you to tell me what they have in common. Anybody? Have an idea? Yes.
Duple-meter.
Pardon?
Duple-meter.
Oh, you're so technical. I love you. No, actually. What these, yes?
Are they all virtual instruments?
Are they what?
All virtual instruments.
They are all virtual instruments. In all of those pieces, there was, it's so good job. There is not one real instrument being played. Not one. It's all plugins. Now, given that, in order to get that out of a plugin, you have to be a ripping great musician, okay? Most of that was actually played on, a lot of it was played, especially the wind instruments, played on the Kai Iwi. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but they're really cool, and I've been playing with one, and it's awesome. But this is the world that you're going into as musicians, that you have this kind of stuff, okay? So this is the Cristofori piano. Now, I can tell you that when that came out, there was a lute player who went, "Great, I'm never going to work again." It's the truth. Technology, music technology always wins. Every single instrument that you guys play, if you're playing an instrument, was at some point a new technology. So the world that you're going to exist in musicians is a world that is filled with new technologies. Now, combining virtual instruments and combining real instruments has some really cool stuff. This is a quote from Leonard Bernstein: "An orchestral artist is a living being, a musician incorporating all the music that has preceded him and all the music informing his daily life. He is not a painting on the wall, nor is an orchestra an exhibition, even a Picasso exhibition. A musical artist is a consecrated part of the world he inhabits. If he is fenced off, he will stagnate. So will the orchestra, so will the public, so will art." You guys are a product of the times you're in. How many of you guys have iPhones or smartphones of some kind? Yes. How many of you use them to play music? Yes. Okay. You guys, the world is surrounded and awash in music. And the reason that I say this is such an exciting time to be entering the entertainment business is entertainment is all around us. Music is all around us all the time. The opportunities to create music, the opportunities to sell music and perform music are greater now than they've ever been. So what are some benefits of the technology? At its peak, Walmart carried about 40,000 songs in its record department. And the classical section was about this big. All right? Now, the iTunes Store has over 43 million songs. And this was as of September 12, 2012. I couldn't find any other statistic closer. My guess is it's doubled since then. Easily. That's a lot. That's a lot of music. And the other statistic is there is not one song that's up on iTunes that has not sold at least once. Somebody's mom at least buys it. Someone. So another benefit of technology, and I don't know how hip you guys are to this, but on your iPhone, you have GarageBand. If you have an iPhone, you have GarageBand, okay? I could get 4 of you down here to play, sing, do something. I could record it. In my iPhone, I can add reverb, EQ it, compress it, get it, pretty much master it, get it ready. I can take a picture of you, and then I can upload that to a website called TuneCore. Any of you familiar with TuneCore? Okay, a few of you, good. Okay, so TuneCore is a music aggregator. What they do is people send them their music, and they have a contract with iTunes, and once you upload all this stuff to iTunes, it goes to iTunes, and it is everywhere in the world that iTunes has a store. From my phone to people being able to buy it around the world. Now, not only does it do that, but you can then go to Spotify, Amazon Prime Music, YouTube, Deezer. There's just tons of these music stores you can put your music in. And all that will cost you less than $20 to upload a song, $49.95 to upload an album. Guys, that's mind-blowing. When I started in the business, in order to record something that was just decent enough to be considered professional, you needed $250,000 worth of equipment. And then you had to buy tape. And the 2-inch tape that we used was over $100 a reel, and that record about 10 minutes. And then you had to mix it down to another piece of tape, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and the cost. And that didn't even include, now, and you got to have a building to put this stuff in. And then you got to hire musicians to come in and play. Well, now, if you want to be pro, $5,000, computer, a little bit of stuff, some plugins, you're good. If you want to be state of the art, $15,000 to $20,000 will get you there. The opportunities for you to control your career are far greater than they were when I did mine. The people that came out when I started, composers, you would go to work for another composer and be an arranger, and you would try to work your way up and maybe meet a producer, and maybe 10 years later, that producer would go on to another show and they might hire you. The guy that I worked with originally, one of my mentors was a guy named Mike Post. Mike did all the music for all the Law and Order series. He did a ton of shows. Okay, Mike makes. Anybody know what BMI and ASCAP are? Oh gosh, I wish I had more time because this is like critical. But anyway, Mike Post has worked on so many shows, and he gets paid off of his music being played on TV and stuff. He makes $59,000 a day. $59,000 a day. And a lot of it is from chung chung. Okay? Yeah. I had a conversation with him, and he told me, he said, Geoff, he graduated from LA Valley College as a guitar player. 2-year school, LA Valley College, making $59,000 a day, walking to his mailbox. And he told me, he said, Geoff, there isn't a week that goes by that I don't wake up in the middle of the night and in a cold sweat, having a nightmare that somebody said, Mike, we just figured out you don't know what you're doing. And he would never work again. This is the guy at the time, he had 6 TV shows on the air. Okay? So those insecurities that we all have as artists are all there, but somehow you find a way to plow through those. Some way you find a way to do that, and that is by being an entrepreneur and being aggressive in going after your dream. Anybody familiar with Source Elements? That's a technology company, Source Elements. Okay, they've got a software called Source Connect. And how many of you have DAWs, Digital Audio Workstation? Few of you, okay. This is something that I think every single one of you, as a musician, should learn how to use at least GarageBand. Okay? Because this is where it is and where it will be. You should at least be able to record your own demos and edit your own stuff. Okay? So if you have a computer and you're making music on a computer using Logic or any of those other things, using this software, you can connect up with another computer and record remotely. Okay? So you can be here in Norman, you can record a guitar player in LA in real time, connecting up your computer. Now, not only that, it will handle 5 streams. So you can have a guitar player in Los Angeles, a drummer in Chicago, a bass player in New York, a string section in Florida, and you can sit and you can operate all the different computers from your computer, push play, talk to everybody, and record. And somehow, I don't know how this does it, but it magically connects everything and eliminates lag. So you can record live. And the cool thing about this software is it's free for universities. And if your university signs up for, I saw years ago, free? If the university signs up and gets this, then all the students can use it. So you can be in your apartment, in a house, wherever, and you can connect up with other students around the world. Imagine you're going to do, you have an orchestral piece and you want to use African drums. Well, why not go ahead and contact the University of South Africa, find out if they have this program and if they have some people who can play on it. This stuff is happening all the time, okay? So technology offers the ability to collaborate with people all around the world. Anybody that you can connect to, okay? Now, if you get this for the university, you can only connect to other universities. If you get this for other things, you can record with anybody who's got the software. So a lot of times in Los Angeles, for film composers, they will compose their score, they decide to record it in London, and you will sit in a studio in Los Angeles in real time and watch a Skype feed, basically, and listen, and you can watch the conductor conducting, you listen to it, you can talk to the orchestra and say, no, in bar 6 it was a B flat, not a B, whatever, and record it in real time, listen to it with the movie playing, watch the whole thing, and then when it's done, you hit one button on your computer and all the files dump and come over the internet to you. It's happening every day. So the ability to perform, the ability to do it anywhere is crazy. Part of the reason that Kelly and I moved back here to raise our children in this environment as opposed to Los Angeles, but also as we realized we can be anywhere and record. We can connect and collaborate with anybody. So that's empowering for you guys. Zoe Keating is a cellist. Now, she embodies what I'm talking about when I'm talking about an entrepreneur. Let me tell you a little bit about Zoe's life. She was a child prodigy cellist. At 16, she was at Eastman School of Music. Okay, this girl is ripping great. She developed horrible stage fright. Horrible stage fright. She couldn't play on stage. She couldn't play classical music, especially solos. She couldn't play those on stage without falling apart and melting into a puddle. She dropped out of Eastman. She ended up going to Sarah Lawrence. She studied art history and computer programming. She finished Sarah Lawrence. She still played. She still practiced. She still played. She still loved music. It really was her heart. It really was where she wanted to end up. But she graduated from Sarah Lawrence with $30,000 in debt and went, I can't go into music right now. So she went to San Francisco and she got in at the dot-com boom, and she was working as a computer programmer. Right? She was playing in some small orchestral pieces, and she was out, and she would get asked all the time by metal bands to come play cello with metal bands. She says, yeah, there's something about power chords and cello that just go together. So anyway, so she was doing that, and then the dot-com bubble burst. Now, during that whole time, she had friends, and all her friends were starting companies, and she watched them. She watched what they did. She watched how they did business. When the dot-com bubble burst, she went, okay, I want to give it a shot. I want to try music. So she was able to work as a consultant on websites and computers and stuff. She did some of that to pay the bills. But she started working on her music, and she said, okay, what can I do myself? And being kind of a computer nerd, she got into a program called Ableton Live. Anybody heard of Ableton Live? Okay, good. Ableton Live is a group of musicians doing what's called looping. So it allows you to play something, and then that will loop, and you can add something on top of it and play another part and another part. You can build a composition that way. So she started playing with this stuff, and she was composing these things. She went, this is pretty good. I really like this stuff. So she completed an album's worth of stuff, and she sent it to a whole bunch of record companies, and they all turned her down. Classical, it didn't matter. Everybody turned her down. Well, she still believed in it. She still wanted to try it. She said, okay, I'll just start doing some live shows, because if I do some live shows, people are going to want to buy my music. This is okay, I'll do this. So she contacts venues all over San Francisco. Zero. Nobody would let her use their venue. She still believes in her music. So what does she do? She starts inviting people over to her apartment. She starts doing little concerts. She gets 1,000 CDs made up, and she's selling them out of her apartment. Okay? And she meets some other musicians, and they started banding together, and they started doing some shows. And those started getting bigger, but then she was getting more requests, so she started going out and performing herself. Now, venues wouldn't take her, so she would find a church. She would find a warehouse. She would go anywhere she could go, and she started performing. In fact, one of the things she ended up doing was there was the 60th anniversary of the first atomic bomb going off. She's a bit of a hippie. So she goes out to Nevada, in the Nevada desert, 40 miles from nowhere, and does this, and is involved in this event. Little did she know, she had no idea, but it was being broadcast by NPR. She was doing this for free. She plays, her web starts getting hits. She starts selling more CDs. And she was selling them off of CD Baby as well. Anybody know about CD Baby? So if you're an independent musician, you can put your music up on CD Baby, sell your CDs. And it was really big in the early 2000s with iTunes and stuff. It's not as big anymore. But so she put her music up there and she was selling. She sold over 50,000 CDs, guys. 50,000 CDs at $10 a pop, and she owned all of it. $500,000. Pretty dang cool. Okay? And because of CD Baby lets you know who your customers are, they give you email addresses, she started finding out where everybody was. She started going around the country and doing concerts. And she said sometimes she would show up and there'd be 5 people. Sometimes there'd show up and there'd be 200 people. But it was just her cello, and her laptop. And she plugged the sound out of it, and she would play. Okay? So she did this and did this and did this, and she has become this advocate, this icon actually in the independent music world. And I always tell my students who are guitar players and stuff and forming bands, I go, what is your excuse? She's an avant-garde cellist. And she's making a living. And then not only did that happen, but then her music started being placed in film and television. Film composers loved her playing. They started hiring her to come in and play on film scores. Wow, cool. Now she's got 2 TV shows she's doing the music for. She's adapted to the marketplace. She's changed. Sad, her husband passed away from cancer. She's got a baby, and she said, I can't be on the road as much as I want. So she's changed her vision, and she's now doing 2 TV shows, doing the music for 2 TV shows. So let me play a little of her stuff, just so you can hear what it is that she's doing. Anyway, you get the idea. But this is a woman who had a vision, not only for her art, what she wanted to do, but she had a vision as to how to get it out there. She is an entrepreneur. She speaks all over the country. There, if you go up and you search Zoe Keating, there's all kinds of stuff with her talking about the business and how she did what she did without a manager, without an agent, without a record company. She did it. Her sister was the one who put her CDs in little mailers and mailed them out a lot of the time. So it's possible. I want to play another group. Anybody heard of E.S. Postumus? If you were to go to their website, there is a bio. And the bio says that E.S. Postumus is Helmut and Franz van Lichten. Helmut and Franz van Lichten. And basically, I mean, the old bio was a little more in depth, but it was kind of like they were raised by wolves in Europe. And then they moved over and to pursue their dreams in Hollywood, and one of them went to UCLA and was a composition major, the other one became an engineer, and they formed this thing, but they are reclusive artists. No one can see their face. Okay? Any picture you would see of them, they have hoodies on, and they're like this. Okay. All right. Well, there's a reason. Because Helmut and Franz von Lichten are actually Rob and Geoff Pfeiffer. They're friends of mine, friends of my wife's. Okay? Okay, so these are two guys, and part of it is true. One of them was an audio engineer. The other one graduated from UCLA with a composition degree. And they formed a company, Pfeiffer Brothers Music. And like everybody, what they wanted to be is they wanted to be film composers. But it's tough to get a job, and so you got to do something while you're trying to get in there. And the thing that they were able to get in to do was to be movie trailer music guys. So if you go to the movies and you see the movie trailer, these guys were doing the music for a lot of that stuff. Then they were really well known for doing that. But creatively, that was not what they wanted to do. And the reason is because, and you'll find this as a musician, you don't always get to play what you want to play. Does anybody have that experience? Okay, good. Yes, okay. So you don't always get to play what you want to play. And so what happened is, Universal, Paramount, whoever it is, they'd send over the 2 minutes of footage of the trailer. And into that footage that they sent them, they had cut John Williams, John Barry, whoever, Hans Zimmer, whatever music, and they had chopped it all up and put it in and said, okay, this is what we want. But we don't want to get sued, so we want you to write something original, but it's got to be just like this. And most film scores, actually, that's a lot of what happens. Unless you're John Williams or you're somebody like that, and they come to you and want your sound, most of the time they're going, ooh, I want John Powell meets, I don't know, Yo-Yo Ma, go. And then you have to try to please them, because your art, what you're creating, is there to serve the film and the director, not to serve what you want to do musically. So anyway, so they're frustrated. They're doing this music. It's fine. They're making a living. They're doing music, but they want to do more. So they start writing their own music. And since they're going up to Seattle to record the movie trailer music, they're doing 2 minutes worth of music. They've got a good orchestra that reads fast. They normally would do a temp dub so they could play it for the orchestra so the orchestra hears it right away. When you hire an orchestra, you hire them for a 3-hour session, 3-hour blocks. So they hire them for 3 hours. It takes an hour and a half to do the music. So at the end of the hour and a half, they say, thank you, Universal, this has been great, boom, and the executives leave. And then they throw their music on the stands, because they got the orchestra free for an hour and a half. And they started recording their stuff. And if they needed to record a little longer, they would pay the extra, but it was helping them out to do it on Universal's dime. So they're not dumb. A vision, smart, entrepreneurs. So they do this thing, and over a course of a year, they record an album's worth of music. Let me play, this is one of the pieces of music. Let me play it for you. So anyway, so these guys, they record this music. They realize they can't put it out as themselves. So they decide, all right, what are we going to do? Well, 6 months earlier, Geoff Pfeiffer had decided he was going to order some magazines for their office, and he just said, I'm going to order it in a weird name. So he made up Helmut and Franz von Lichten, because he thought it was funny. So they said, we'll be the von Lichten brothers. We'll be Helmut and Franz von Lichten. And they concocted this whole backstory. And they shot publicity photos with them like this. And they were camera shy, and nobody could see what they looked like. And they were hermits who lived in the studio. And so this is what they did. And then they got the whole thing put together, and they called their attorney. And they said, all right, look, this is what we've done. Can you do anything with this? And he listened to the music. He said, hell yeah, I can do something with this. She said, I'm going to send this out to all the music supervisors in Los Angeles. Those are the people that choose songs and help put the music into films. They send it out. Like within a week, it got in the very first Spider-Man movie. Then it started getting picked up. This piece that you just heard, I wanted to get to that brass part. They used that for the NFL on Fox. Their music started getting placed all over the place. They put the music up on CD Baby. To date, they have sold over 300,000 CDs at $10 a pop. Math, $3 million. These guys had an artistic vision and they had a business vision. Okay? This is how weird it got. Okay? So they were up with Universal to do another movie trailer. And they were about to start working on it, and Universal said, no. I'm sorry, but we're not going to use you. We're going to use the Von Lichten brothers. And Geoff Pfeiffer said, ooh, they're good. And then he got on the phone with his attorney, and his attorney negotiated a deal that would pay them 3 times more than they would have made as the Pfeiffers. To use music that they had already written and recorded. Okay? So these guys are smart. I want to show you, this is how ridiculous it got. Okay? This is the point where it got to. Their stuff was appearing all over the place.
Feel it coming in the air, hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. It's a dangerous love affair. Can't be scared when it goes down. Got a problem, tell me now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance. Get your fatigues on. All black, everything. Black cars, all black, everything. And I want the running with the hip. I can't more than tap if you boys really good enough. This is not familiar. I'll explain later. But for now, let me get back to this paper. I'm a couple bands down and I'm trying to get back. I gave Doug a grip, I lost a flip of 5 stacks. Yeah, I'm talking 5,6 zeros out, zeros here, the back to run the circles well. Then we squared up.
Oh my goodness! Taking it home. Touchdown. What a play! Oh! Play back, play physical. That's nothing. Wow! We've been waiting for this moment right here all season long. All I want today is all you got. Get it for this city. Get it for each other.
Yeah. Touchdown. Yeah, I said it, we are. You can call me Caesar. In a dark Caesar. Please follow the lead. So everything we are. Microphone fiend is the return of V-God. Peace God. Ain't nobody fresher. I'm in Mason. Martin Martella on the table screaming. The other side, they jealous. We got a big head full of. They got a table full of fellas.
Feel it coming in the air, hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. It's a dangerous love affair. Victories within the mile. Almost there, don't give up now. Only thing that's on my mind is who gonna run this town tonight. Who gonna run this town tonight?
They did a remix of Jay-Z and Rihanna. They were hired to do this. They're stars. They made a lot of money, but it's because they had a vision for the art that they wanted to create, and then they had a vision. They were entrepreneurs, and they figured out a plan to get them there. I wish I had time to work with all of you to help you get your plans there and figure out how to do a plan. Hopefully, we'll be able to do something in the future where I can help you do that. I think we're kind of out of time. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was your definition of success and happiness. Okay? What I want you to look at those things, because the people who are successful are people whose definition of success and definition of happiness are almost identical. Okay? So if you want to die young and live the rock and roll lifestyle, and that's your definition of success, and you want to do drugs and want to do all that stuff, and your definition of happiness is to have a wife and a family and raise them, and it ain't going to happen. So put them together. So think about that. Think of yourself as a business. Create your vision for your art, and create a vision, a plan to get it out there and to be successful. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Cool. Thank you.